Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for this segment, we have Caleb Silver, Editor-in-Chief over at Investopedia, and we've been putting together some fantastic content for October, which of course is National Financial Planning Month. And for this segment, we're going to talk about what is estate planning. And Caleb, as we know, it's not the easiest conversation to have, but it has to be had. Probably one of the most important pieces that we've covered for this series. What is estate planning?
Yeah, no one likes to talk about it, but it is a thing you have to talk about. Otherwise, things get very complicated in the end. Estate planning is the preparation of tasks that manage an individual's assets in the event of incapacitation or death. Not a comfortable conversation, but better to have it beforehand rather than after. The planning includes the distribution of assets to one's heirs, the settlement of an estate, the settlement of taxes. Most estate plans are set up with the help of an attorney who can help you with that paperwork because it can be very complicated.
So what's an estate plan for?
An estate plan is for creating a will. That's the first step in that, making sure you know where your assets are going to go in the event of incapacitation or death. Limiting your estate taxes by setting up trust accounts. You don't want the state to issue probate and decide where your money's going to go. You want to decide that for yourself. Establishing a guardian if you have living dependents, so someone's there to take care of your family. Naming an executor, so key to name the right executor for your estate. Creating or updating beneficiaries for your life insurance, for your IRAs or your 401ks, even your own funeral arrangements. You want this set up ahead of time so there's no surprises, and you want to establish that giving if you want to give after you're gone, if you want to be able to contribute to charities or continue to give to foundations, that helps with that as well. And then setting up the durable power of attorney, so important, so those decisions are made by somebody who reflects the interests that you want when you're gone.
I would imagine appointing the right executor is everything when it comes to this.
It's everything, and it's a really hard choice for a lot of people, but you have to find that person in your life who could be the legal representative for your estate, approved by the court, responsible for locating your assets and distributing them. It's so important that you have somebody who can understand these things, and they can estimate the value of the estate by either the date of the death value or an alternative valuation date, but they have to do this according to the IRS's code. That's why they have to know what they're doing, and they can also pay off any taxes or debt owned by the individual when they're gone. So they need to know where everything is and how to access all your accounts. That's why picking the right person is so important.
How much does estate planning cost?
Estate planning can be costly. It can start at $150 or $200 just to start a will, but it gets more complicated the more you add into it. So if you have a complicated portfolio, if you own several businesses, or if you have a lot of heirs, it can get more and more complicated over time. So each step up in that process costs a little bit more money. It can cost upwards of $10,000 or even more for some people.
Is there a way to keep costs down?
Yeah, you can keep costs down by being organized going in. You can compare attorneys when you're looking for someone to help you with the paperwork, help you set up that will or those revocable trusts. You can compare costs across attorneys. Generally, those prices are the same. You go in prepared. Make sure you have all your documents together. You don't want to waste time and money trying to gather all your documents when you're on the clock with an attorney. And then agree to those costs beforehand so there's no surprises. A really good attorney who can help with estate planning will tell you, these are what these things cost. We should have them done by this amount of time. You want to make sure you're super clear about that, and then get it in writing. You want to make sure all that is firmly put down in black and white so you can see what you're paying for and what you get for it.
And we keep hearing so much about tax laws changing and regulations changing when it comes to estate planning. How important is it to stay on top of legal changes to estate planning?
Well, you need to stay on top of it, but you have to make sure your attorney, if you're working with one, is staying on top of it as well. But if you have a complicated estate and you make a lot of money, there are some laws that you really want to pay attention to. So the estate and gift tax exemption, that can be used during your lifetime or death. It's up to $11.7 million per person, after which it's taxed at 40%. So you want to keep an eye on that. There's a new proposal that would move that up to January 1st, 2022, leaving you only 3 months to make that exemption. That's just one of the rules that's changing right now, but there are several out there. You got to stay on top of it and make sure your attorney's staying on top of it and have those frequent conversations to make sure you're both are on the same page.
All right, thanks for joining us for National Financial Planning Month. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.